Today we start with the element that started it all. Earth. Now when I say Earth, there are two ways your thoughts might respond. The first is Earth, as in the soil beneath our feet, the boulders on the mountain slopes, or the trees that stand so tall around us. The second is Earth, as in Gaia, Mother Earth, Pachamama, the essence of Earth, the living spirit that inhabits all that is held down by gravity.
Have you ever lost yourself, staring into the flames or coals of a fire, watching how the flames flick and stutter while the embers shimmer and crawl? Or gone for a swim and submerged yourself for a moment, finding yourself entranced by the silence and gentle, all-encompassing hug of the water, and then staying under as long as possible to stretch the experience? Have you been caught in a breeze or strong gust, and instead of huffing and frantically trying to get your hair out of your face, you closed your eyes and inhaled slowly, feeling that effervescent energy rushing through you? How about catching yourself lost in thought as you shove your hands into the soil of the garden bed you are busy planting, feeling that rich, cool energy soaking into your hands, or feeling your breath catch in awe of majestic mountains as they come into view on a road trip? Did you notice how each of those felt different? Felt unique, felt special? Those are the elements that bring ourselves as human beings to life and bring every aspect of the physical world that surrounds us into existence. Earth, water, air, and fire. Without any one of these, there could be no life, whether self-aware or not. These four elements create physical life, as in heartbeats, breath, body heat, brain activity, etc. But there is one more element that makes things magical, and that element is love. Love is the glue that brings and holds everything together. Love is far more complex than the movies have taught us, and love is far more powerful than you have ever imagined. Love is also the source of all emotions. Wait, what? Yes, hate and anger are a result of a lack of love. Sadness comes from a lack of love. Joy comes from ample love, and excitement comes from a love of something. Love doesn't have to be intoxicating and all-consuming to be real or to mean something. Love can be a simple flicker felt as a butterfly crosses your path in an unlikely place, or that tiny moment of grief you feel, or should feel, when a bug splatters across your windscreen on the highway. Everything we have ever felt is because of a positive or negative charge of love energy. Imagine being alive and never feeling anything at all. Nothing good or bad. Nothing exciting or daunting. How lucky we are to feel. How blessed we are to know love.
Pachamamita, Mother Earth, Gaia. She has many names in many different cultures, but those of us who have not lost touch with her know that there will never be a name powerful enough to do her justice. I will refer to her as Pachamama for the sake of this video. Pachamama is the living being, the consciousness, the self-aware energy that dwells within every grain of sand and every blade of grass. You will find her in the deepest valleys, on the highest peaks, and in every millimeter in between. She dwells all the way from the core of our planet to the highest flight a bird has ever taken. She is everywhere, in everything we do, and it is because of her that we and all other living beings on this planet thrive. She protects us and blesses us with good fortune. She transforms our heavy energies and reinvigorates the dead into new cycles of life. And she forgives us again and again and again for all the transgressions we have made and continue to make against her. Absolutely everything you have ever eaten, everything you have ever worn to stay warm or to look beautiful in, everything you have in your home, from your coffee cups to your designer tech, the walls and roof of your house itself, all of this comes from Pachamama. We forget this because we as the human race have forgotten to ask permission. We have forgotten that we do not need so much. So we pillage and rape her day in and day out without realizing our actions. We take without awareness because she has been so generous for so long that we have forgotten our manners, our decency, our ethics. We are so far beyond turning it back to where it was that I don't have a solution for restoring balance with our mother. But I do have an idea that might slowly turn us back to the path of respect and kindness. The first task for this episode is to spend an hour being acutely aware of everything you can see and touch. From the clothes you are wearing, to the fridge you take your lunch from. From the sugar you put in your tea, to this lightly unhappy looking pot plant in your kitchen. Anything you can physically see and can or could touch. When you notice these things, each and every time, I want you to say out loud, "Thank you, Pachamama." Feel the love and gratitude flow from your heart into hers. Nothing is too big or too small to be grateful for. Do this for an hour today, but feel free to practice this as often and for as long as you like. Eventually, it will become a silent habit, and being in a space of gratitude will become a natural state for you again. Pachamama is also the birthplace of abundance and manifestation. It is through her that we ask for changes, improvements, increases in our physical world and our physical selves. You want that new job? Pachamama. You're anxious about finances? Pachamama. You want that project you've been working on to succeed without a hitch? Pachamama. Pachamama's greatest gift to all life is her generosity. But for us humans, it is also her greatest weakness, at no fault of her own. So far, she hasn't said no. She hasn't said enough. But she might one day. Let's not test her to see how far we can go. With that said, her generosity for giving and receiving is unaltered. She is always ready to hear you and do her best to help you. There are many ways to make an offering, to say thank you, or to ask for something. Some of those ways are grand, complicated ceremonies, and others are as simple as putting your hands on the ground and saying a prayer. The second task for today, after spending an hour of sending her gratitude, is to ask Pachamama for something. If you have a garden, or safe access to one or to nature, you can do this outside. If you don't, then you can use a pot plant in your home. If neither of these options are available to you, then visualization is the tool for you. It might be a bit trickier to connect if you are just starting out, but it can be just as effective. Get one or all of the following, depending on what you have available: a cookie, some maize meal or polenta, loose tobacco, rice, sugar, a small sweet. I'm not going to go into detail what all of these symbolically represent today, but just know that Pachamama loves these. But don't mix them up, as you will need to offer them one by one. When you have the ingredients for your offering, take a minute, think about and decide what it is you would like to ask for. I recommend keeping it small if you're a beginner. You must fully trust that your request will be heard, received, and worked on. Now, using your hands or any tool required if the soil is quite hard, I want you to dig a hole that's about the depth and width of a mug, a standard coffee mug. Take an ingredient, hold it in both hands, even if that means cupping your fist with the other hand, and hold that against your forehead, filling it up with your request. Visualize how your request is being imprinted through your mind's eye onto that ingredient. Then move your hands to your heart, filling it with love and gratitude for Pachamama. If you are an initiated shaman, you can blow on it at this point. If not, it's best to skip this step. Now gently and carefully place it in the hole. Now repeat this step for every offering, if you have more than one. Once your offering or all of your offerings are in the ground, cover it up gently and place your hands flat on the soil. Say out loud, "Thank you, Pachamama, for receiving my request with all the gratitude you can muster." And then wash your hands and forget about it. If it's for your higher good or for the higher good of others, it will come to be. There's nothing more you can do right now. The second aspect of the earth element is the physical earth around us. Every single thing we can touch, from the most primitive dust on a high shelf to the extremely complex folding touchscreen phone, all come from earth. No matter what it might be made up of, or how many human processes it went through to get to a final product, it all comes from Earth. Now, I might have made it sound like Earth the element does not have energy like Earth the being, but that is not the case. The two energies are very close and work hand in hand most of the time, so they're very difficult to distinguish from each other, but they are different. The energy of Earth, the element, has a grounding, strengthening, fortifying, solidifying, and enriching energy. The color that my mind's eye shows me when I think about the energy of the element Earth is a rich, vibrant, dark emerald green. The color you see could be something else, and that's totally fine. But just make sure that you have not combined the two energies, at least not for the moment. Take a moment to feel that energy in everything around you. I have uploaded a guided meditation for you to use when you are ready to connect to the element of Earth and allow it to fill you with strength, stability, and limitless potential. Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know below or via email. Episodes for the other 4 elements will follow soon. Deepest Monet to all of you.